If you're a newer real estate agent and you're trying to figure out what are the things that you need to emulate in order to take your business to the next level, make six figures, multiple six figures, and really live out the life that you're trying to design for yourself and not just the life by default that you're currently living. So, what are the things that I think are really important that have helped me to get to the point where I'm selling tens of millions of dollars of real estate per year? I'm living comfortably, and I'm able to do a lot of the things that I want to do through my career in real estate. So the first thing that I think is really important is you need to have a vision and you need to have goals. You are not going to aimlessly wander into making a lot of money. It's just that is not something that happens. You really need to have a level of vision, focus, awareness, and goals in order to be moving towards something and to be understanding what direction that you are moving in and what you're working towards. Without a goal, without a why to wake up every day and chase, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to motivate yourself and find the inspiration that you need in order to get up and produce results every day. So that's really the number one thing that you need to be aware of, is if you don't have a system for creating a vision and goals and then tracking them, you need to create one. So every year I do an exercise that's like a life by design exercise, and it is a spreadsheet that I fill out. It has all of my personal expenses, it has my estimated business expenses, and then it has an area where I can add in vacations, savings, houses that I want to buy, cars that you might want to purchase, whatever it is, whatever is important to you. I'm not a car guy, but whatever is the thing that's driving you, whether it's the experiences, whether it's savings, whether it's a college fund, those are the things that I add into this spreadsheet, and it gives me a number after taxes and before taxes of what I would have to actually produce in order to hit that goal. And I think attaching your goal to physical, not physical, but to a vision, to something that is tangible to you in your mind, in the sense that it's not an arbitrary number. I think one of the biggest issues that people have with goal setting is they just use these arbitrary numbers that actually are almost like breaking points for self-limiting ceilings and beliefs, like $100,000. So if you want to do well, you might set your goal to $100,000, but what does that $100,000 really mean to you? What does it actually do for you? If you don't know that, you're not going to care as much about actually hitting that goal to hit the $100,000. But if you know that it's going to take you exactly $167,000 this year to pay your mortgage, go on the vacations you want to go on, buy the car that you need to buy, and then put a down payment on a house, that is a much more powerful goal because it's actually attached to certain outcomes that you're trying to create. So that is my first tip of being a high-level producer in this business, and probably any business. It's just having that clarity of vision, that clarity of focus, and that clear goal setting that attaches your goal to something that you are actually chasing after, and that's going to inspire you and motivate you to get up every day and do the work that needs to be done. The second thing that I would say is really, really important is your self-esteem, your self-talk. And I like to differentiate self-esteem and confidence. And confidence can definitely get you pretty far. It can get you really far. It can get you to multiple six figures. There's a lot of people who are very, very confident, but self-esteem is a more inner, powerful, personal confidence. So the difference between self-esteem and confidence is really outward facing. It's, you can be confident outwardly to the world and portray yourself as confidence. But confidence is really more so in the ego. Self-esteem is much more internal, and it's really about the promises that you keep with yourself. So when you're hitting goals, when you're getting up at the time that you say that you're going to get up, when you are hitting the workout and doing the things that you said that you were going to do every day, that is building trust with yourself, that builds self-esteem. And so confidence, you can put on a facade of confidence, and that again can work for a certain amount of time, but eventually you are going to have this level of imposter syndrome that pops up with most people, everyone, and it's going to usually be because you're out of alignment and you're not doing certain things that you should be doing or want to be doing. So, self-esteem is something that comes from within you, and it transmutes to your life and in your daily life and in your interactions with other people. So when you're going up to someone and they're a prospect, when you have self-esteem, you know that you bring value to the table, and you're not going to feel hurt if this person doesn't want to purchase your product or transact with you, because you're not going to make it personal. You're going to, understand that you're just meeting them where they're at and they're not ready to transact for whatever reason, or maybe they just want to transact with someone else, and that's okay. But if you have the self-esteem to not make that an emotional experience for yourself, that is very, very powerful, because then you're not having these things come into play during your sales process and during your decision-making process in your business where it's emotional. It's much more rational, and it's really rooted in confidence in yourself and self-esteem, and the trust that you've built with yourself that if this person doesn't transact, that's okay, because I'm going to find the next person. It's the same level of energy that it takes for someone to go into a job interview and say, it's okay if I get this job or not. There's other jobs out there. It's a level of acceptance, and it's not a level of pride or ego. So having a good rapport with yourself, building trust with yourself, and having that self-esteem is really, really important. So when you're building that, what really builds that is consistency. So that's my third topic to discuss, is just being consistent. And being consistent is not going to be showing up at 100% every single day. That's not realistic. Life happens. You're going to have things that impact you. You're going to get a bad night of sleep. You're going to have a personal issue that arises. But the consistency is really just knowing that every day you are going to do certain activities. And if you do miss a day, you get back to it the next day. Or if you do miss a week, you get back to it the next week, and you don't let it run into being months or quarters or years where you're in a rut. So the consistency is so important with many things, but the morning routine, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about, the consistency there, super important. prospecting, outreach, providing value to people who are your potential clients. That is literally, those are the two things that should be number one for you every day, is basically building out the morning routine that is going to ensure that you are basically not neglecting multiple different areas of your life and setting yourself up for a successful day to be able to produce results. And then two is actually going and producing the results by doing the outreach, having the conversations, prospecting, and bringing the value to the people that you are, trying to collaborate with and do business with. So when you start with those two things, the morning routine, what is a top producer morning routine look like? So a lot of people, personally, I like to get up between 5 and 5:30. That is, in my opinion, a great time to wake up, because you are not going to be distracted and inundated with emails, calls, texts, family things, whatever it is that might get into your headspace and distract you. You're not going to get inundated with those things between really 5 and 8 a.m., especially 5 and 7 a.m. Most people are not going to be hitting you up at that time, and you're not going to have a whole lot going on. The world is quiet, so it's a nice time to do the things that you have to do every day and center yourself and get yourself ready for a good day. Some people, they start their morning routine later at 7. It is whatever works for you, but personally, I start it earlier. I usually go to the gym first thing, and then after that, you're going to want to do some things that actually center yourself. It's really, you want to focus here on the body, the mind, the spirit. These are the things that you want to do first thing in the morning before you get into the business. And so I'm going to the gym, getting a workout in. I am usually doing some sort of journaling, like affirmations, thoughts about things that are important. I'm reading a book that is either a personal development or business focused book, just to get my mind right. And then usually I'm doing some sort of meditation, prayer, whatever it may be for you, just something to center me and get me in the right mind frame, and to have some gratitude, because gratitude is really a very powerful energy level. And when you have gratitude for the things that are already in your life, you're going to attract more. And that's something that I believe, and it's something that I think if you can every day express gratitude, it's a great way to start the day. So those are the things that I'm doing personally in the morning. And then what I have recently started doing is trying to really be wrapped up by 7 a.m. So then I have a good hour and a half from like 7 to 8:30 where I can do the really big things in my day, like the big rocks that I know I'm not going to get to after like 9 o'clock, once my inbox starts filling up and once I start having my appointments and meetings and whatever I have going on that day. I try and really focus between 7 and 8:30 a.m. on the bigger strategic items that I have to accomplish. So this is like if I'm, planning out content that I have to create, putting any thought around campaigns that I want to run, thought around who I'm reaching out to, what methods of prospecting I'm going to do this week. Those are the planning items that I try and accomplish outside of normal like 9 to 5 business hours, because during the 9 to 5 business hours, it does get pretty difficult to maintain those things. And then on the business side, the consistency needs to come in really the presence and the outreach and the value that you're bringing to the people who you surround yourself with. And so there's a million different ways in this business to prospect. Personally, I work with a ton of developers, investors. I sell a lot of new construction. So those are the people that I'm talking to, and I'm talking to a lot of these guys on a daily basis, and I'm bringing them opportunities. I'm walking their new construction homes. I'm bringing them feedback. I'm providing value in a lot of different ways. Earlier in my career, when I was just doing buyers and sellers and standard residential, it was just who can I reach out to make a connection with and provide value with. And at that point, you start to build these relationships with people, and you will find that people are going to gravitate towards you and start to refer you people and give you business. And it's not from outwardly, cold calling necessarily. Like, I was never a big cold caller. I've done it. I've had success with it. I've actually done some great deals with cold calling, and I suggest definitely trying it. But it's really all about choosing a method that's going to work for you and fit your personality type, and then sticking with it and being consistent with it until it produces results. Right now, I'm doing a lot of content. I'm doing YouTube. This is something that I'm not expecting to see huge results from for probably another year at least. This week was the first time I've even really had anyone reach out to me from anything I've posted on YouTube. But it's a long game. So all of these things and these plans that you're putting into place, you need to be consistent with them over a long period of time. And you probably, however long you think it's going to take for you to be successful doing something, you should just double it. And if you're not willing to do it for double the time, then just don't do it and figure out something else that you're going to do, because you're not going to get the results if you start and stop things all the time and you're not being consistent with them. So that is really, the final key to leveling up in your business. And then the only other thing that I want to mention is, once you have that recipe, once you're doing those things, once you're in alignment with yourself, you have a why, you have goals, you have self-esteem, you have a good morning routine, you're consistent with it, you're prospecting, you have a network. The only thing left is really creating leverage for yourself. And that's where a lot of people plateau. They don't figure out how to create leverage. They don't have the ability to create systems that are going to save them time. They don't hire an assistant or a virtual assistant who's going to help them to do tasks that are, $10 or $15 an hour tasks. But if you're worth $50, $60, $70 an hour, why are you spending your time doing those things? So the leverage piece is kind of the last piece of the puzzle. But really, you start to focus on that leverage piece once you have the rest of the recipe flowing. So I just wanted to make this video just for agents who are either just getting into the business or agents who are hitting a plateau. They haven't been able to hit the six-figure or the multiple six-figure mark. This is the secret sauce, in my opinion. This is what has worked for me. If you are looking for any advice on, any areas where you're having trouble or any areas where you're hitting a plateau, definitely feel free to shoot me an email, reach out to me, shoot me a comment below. And definitely, if you felt that this video is valuable, please hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.